Iran issued a stark warning that it would immediately strike U.S. military bases and aircraft carriers if attacked. Escalating tensions after President Donald Trump declared that time was running out for Tehran and urged the European Union to blacklist Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. As rhetoric hardened on both sides of the Atlantic, and Tehran responded with explicit threats, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres appealed for renewed nuclear negotiations, warning that diplomacy was essential to avoid a crisis that could have devastating consequences for the region. Speaking on Iranian state television, Brigadier General Mohammad Akraminia said U.S. aircraft carriers were far more vulnerable than Washington assumed, and warned that many American bases across the Gulf region lay within range of Iran's medium-range missiles. He dismissed the idea that the United States could conduct a swift, decisive strike without consequences, saying that if such a miscalculation were made, events would not unfold as Trump imagined, where a quick operation would be followed hours later by a declaration that it was over. Amid the rising tension, regional diplomacy continued quietly. Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani held a phone call with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, during which the two leaders discussed ongoing efforts to defuse tensions and restore stability, according to the Qatar news agency. At the same time, pressure from Europe intensified. The European Union formally designated Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, as a terrorist organization, citing its violent crackdown on recent mass protests. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen welcomed the decision, saying the term terrorist accurately described a regime that had crushed its own people's protests with blood. Although largely symbolic, the designation provoked sharp warnings from Tehran. Iran's military condemned the EU move as illogical, irresponsible, and driven by revenge, accusing the bloc of acting in subservience to Iran's adversaries, the United States and Israel. Iranian officials also blamed those two countries for the unrest at home, claiming their agents were inciting riots and conducting terrorist operations that hijacked demonstrations originally sparked by economic grievances. Human rights organizations countered that thousands of people had been killed by Iranian security forces during the protests, including units of the IRGC, which serves as the ideological backbone of Iran's military. President Trump warned that the United States would take action if protesters continued to be killed during the anti-government demonstrations that began in late December and peaked on January 8th and 9th. In his most recent remarks, however, Trump shifted his focus toward Iran's nuclear ambitions, which Western governments believe are aimed at developing an atomic bomb. He reiterated that time is running out for Tehran to reach an agreement, warning that a U.S. naval strike group entering Middle Eastern waters was ready, willing, and able to strike Iran if necessary. Iranian authorities have acknowledged that thousands died during the unrest, placing the death toll at more than 3,000, but insisted that most of those killed were members of the security forces or civilians allegedly slain by what they described as rioters.